The coalition said destroying Gaddafi was not their goal. Then why bomb his palaces? Now some officials have claimed that eliminating him was in fact their goal. Who gave them that right? Did he have a fair trial? Returning to the no-fly zone, the bombings are destroying the country's entire infrastructure. When the so-called civilized world uses all its military power against a small country destroying what's been created by generations, I don't know if that's good.
هذول اللي وراهم اللي يقوموا بالعمل هذا يعطينهم حبوب وراهم مش بإرادتهم.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
The son of the late head of Libya, Muammar Gaddadfi, brutally murdered by Western democracies, Seif al-Islam Gaddafi has nominated himself for the presidency of Libya. Elections will be held at the end of December. At one time, Seif al-Islam Gaddafi performed the role of Prime Minister, but officially refused his father's offer to take this post. In 2011, he took an active part in suppressing a rebellion against his father, for which he was recognized as a criminal by the West, and a warrant for his arrest was issued in The Hague. In August 2021, the Libyan prosecutor issued a warrant for his arrest on charges in connection with PMC Wagner, a Russian paramilitary group. After the death of Gaddafi, Libya became a getaway for terrorists. All Wahhabis would go there for training and then beyond. A lot of people died in the country, and Libya became a gateway for refugees to flee the east and run to the west.
Already there have been 3 migrant boats spotted. All of these are classed as search and rescue missions, but the truth of it is, this is a massive criminal enterprise that is organising all of this, making vast sums of money. You can see the boats absolutely packed, all being charged a minimum of €5,000 each for the criminal gangs to make this crossing. I mean, you can't believe when you see how close the water is to the edge. I mean, how massively over.
Gaddafi's father, Muammar Gaddadfi, was supported by the Soviet government when he came to power, nationalized the oil industry, and gave the country a huge leap forward in terms of development. Will Russia now support his son, Seif al-Islam al-Gaddafi? You see, my dear friends, the Eastern world is a delicate matter. I think that until the very end of the elections, or what is called elections, will not have any clarity, because there are extremely large number of factors at work. First of all, tribal factors, because Libya is a country that was created, riveted from various small pieces, and it's the greatness of Muammar Gaddadfi that he was able to unite all the Libyans, sew these scattered pieces together and make the country exceptionally prosperous. Nobody really has a good idea of how prosperous Libya was before it was destroyed by outside influence. We all talk about how petrol was cheaper than water. Gaddafi gave married couples money towards starting a family. Gaddafi gave free healthcare and built state-of-the-art universities. But all of it is now destroyed. It will be very difficult to collect all these pieces and suddenly turn Libya great again, because there's just too many external factors today that weren't there when Muammar Gaddadfi was leading the nation. Too many external factors, primarily Europe, and at the same time the Gulf countries and their neighbours. They have their own interests, and each of these countries will seek their own interests.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, the government of Libya announced the death of Muammar Gaddadfi. This marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya.
However, I think being the son of Gaddafi, the main advantage is the greatness of his father. 10 years have passed since martyr Muammar Gaddadfi was overthrown and brutally killed, with the most active participation of the so-called Western democracies. And today the people of Libya have something to compare with. How they lived until 2011, when the satanic-inspired unrest began, and how they live now. We regularly hear of bandits, robbers, slave traders operating in Libya. Today, people are crying out for law and order. However, having said that, I don't believe Russia is going to be the Superman. I don't think the Russians will be active in their support for Gaddafi's son to win the elections. Of course, If he comes to power, they'll support him, but Russia will not meddle in the upcoming Libyan elections. That's not to say they've meddled in elections in the past, because it's always the Western regimes who poke their noses in the affairs of the East. Russia has great interest in West Asia as a whole. They generally have good relations with countries of the region. There's not a single country with which Russia does not hold friendly relations. And in Libya, the Russians have already done enough by supporting the Libyan parliament. Russia has been supporting the Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar. But there's a reason for that. Now, since the elections are about to begin once again in Libya, I think the Russians will take a back seat. They must step aside and do the right thing and let the Libyan people choose who they want as their president. Russians have nothing to lose right now. Most of the Libyan army and officers are people who received military education either in the Soviet Union or the countries of the socialist camp. They have Russian weapons. They want to continue to maintain military ties and receive those weapons, and that's why Russia supported Khalifa Haftar. But if Khalifa Haftar goes and Gaddafi's son comes into the picture, Russia will maintain its support for Libya and continue to back, even if it is Gaddafi's son. Hopefully Russia's stance will set an example for the Masonic leaders of the West. Today, world powers are pressing for elections in Libya, but there's dispute between them. All sides are asking each other to pull out their mercenaries, but no one's prepared to do that. Personally, I'd like to see the road to Tripoli cleared for Seif al-Islam Gaddafi. Only he can eradicate terrorism in Libya. He will bring security and economic prosperity. I strongly believe if he's elected, then he will definitely play a major role in bringing peace to Libya.
قد تندمون يوم لا ينفع الندم الذي بيته من الزجاج لا يرجم الناس بالحجارة. من أنتم؟